We have a bit of a breaking news story for you guys. Do you remember the last video I just did? Talked about how we should be cautiously optimistic and positive about this new illegal migration ban legislation going through Parliament. Well, the government, Rishi Sunak, are going to be facing a massive rebellion on this so-called bill from both sides. The Conservative side and the Socialist side and the Liberal side and every side for different reasons. And it's a bit of a problem. So we have issues from all sides. Basically, what we have is Sunak and Rishi, who recently announced the Stop the Boats campaign, which took them some time. Obviously, it took the Tory government a few years to actually get its act together. And even right now, it hasn't been done yet, so let's not get excited. But they did say that we are serious about this. But now we have at least 60 Tories rebelling. From their perspective, is to limit the judges' powers to stop deportations. So that's good. I like this rebellion. But then you've got the Labour Party side, who also won a number of different changes, which is from their perspective, is going to be not really preventing illegal migration. That's a different point. I think the Labour side would be easier to defeat because the Tories still have a majority. I know it's been completely misused, this so-called Tory majority, over the last few years, but they still have the numbers. And when you have 60 Tories rebelling, they are simply trying to make the bill a better legislation. They are trying to make sure that there is no obstacle going forward. So I'm behind them. It's good. The only issue is it going to be delaying the legislation? Is it going to go back and forth again from the House of Lords to the House of Commons? That will be an issue, because the reason that Suella Braverman introduced this bill was to get the timing right. Then the next day after she announced the legislation, then the bill, then she started to arrest and detain illegal migrants who are coming in. So as we are the last few days, the last week or so, illegal migrants are all being detained. The reason she did that was because by the time the actual bill has gone through fully, then it will be done. And Rwanda is also ready now. We won the battle against the judges on the Rwanda plan, so that's officially legal to do. But again, if this becomes a problem, then it's going to be delayed once again. But let's not completely lose hope. What's going on here? So we have 50 pages of amendments have been tabled to this bill. 50 pages of amendments. So this is the Labour Party trying to delay and delay and delay. And of course, the Tory sides are also trying to make sure that judges, the left-wing judges, don't have too much power to prevent deportations. So the Labour Party have proposals to establish a process to fast-track asylum claims from safe countries, and Olivia Blake is leading us. So the first amendment that they wanted, the first priority for them is to fast track the process. Now, those of you who might think, well, that's a good idea, let's just, because there's a backlog. Yes, but from their perspective, the Labour Party want to fast track it, not to go through the backlog to reject them. They want to go through and press tick, tick, tick to just approve them. That's what they're going to do, especially if the next year or so, Keir Starmer and the Labour Party get into power. So if this legislation, if they win these amendments, which hopefully they won't, they don't have the numbers, then this will be the worst part of the bill, because they're going to give them more powers to be able to just approve anybody entering the country illegally, which means the whole point of the legislation is undermined. So it's going to become redundant. The Conservative insiders believe that the Prime Minister faces a real problem on Monday, so that's 2 days from now, because the toughest amendments are said to be supported by the Tories, who are also calling for legal safe routes and support for victims of modern slavery, one of whom is a former Conservative Party leader. Yep, Theresa May and the others. So you have, one of the sources said, there's a lot of affection for Rishi and Suella, but unless the Home Secretary makes a generous offer at the dispatch box, we won't consider putting our toys back inside the box. This is the issue. While I said that the Labour side don't really have the full numbers in terms of majority in the House, but there are enough Tory MPs who are basically betraying the system. They also want to support the Labour amendments. This is the problem. It's not really surprising, but it's good to remind ourselves sometimes that not everybody in the Tory benches are sound Conservatives. So it's going to be a bit of an issue if these amendments go through. I have no problem with fast-tracking the process and the applications. That has to be done. There's a massive problem with the backlog. But if you make a generous offer, as they want Suella to do, to be able to essentially approve a lot of them in the name of modern slavery or human trafficking, that is bad. because they are lying. These people, especially from Albania, they come here and they say, well, I just ended up here. Someone forced me to come here. Someone took all my money and I somehow lost all my ID, passport and everything. I'm a victim. Really? From France? Okay. Yeah, I believe you. This is the problem. Anyway, we're going to have more updates on this issue for you guys. So the best thing you can do is subscribe to the channel. Click on the bell next to it, next to the notification bell. I'm Mahyar, Tousi, and we are the media.